Yo, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Blank back here on Resident Evil 4, part 15 or 16 today here in the series of this playthrough, if I believe. It's been quite a while since I've had the opportunity of actually talking to you guys and doing a RE4 video. I know you guys have ever so patiently been holding your breath and waiting for me to finally finish out this game, and I greatly appreciate your patience. So, today here in this commentary, I just wanted to say this is going to be a probably much longer video than what you're used to. I'm probably going to end up getting through like maybe 2 or 3 chapters here in this video alone instead of my typical one. Here in this commentary, I will be talking and discussing to you guys what it is I've been doing over these past 4 to 5 months that has been keeping me away from doing videos that I enjoy creating for you guys, as well as just naturally playing video games with my friends. So, if you guys have actually been keeping up to date here on the channel, you would have actually already known what it is I have been keeping myself busy with. And that is the key stuff, short, sweet, simple, and concise. School. That's the one word answer. But I believe you guys deserve a much more detailed explanation other than just that. So, we should actually go to the very, very beginning. I'm not sure if I've actually ever disclosed this to you guys, but I actually do online school, and I've been doing so over these past 4 to 5 years at this point. So, with that out of the way, I believe I should go talk about my very, very first year of online school and transitioning into that compared to me from that point doing brick and mortar. My first online school year was very, very rough, way rougher than it ever should have been. Due to the fact, from whatever reason, I'm not sure exactly, because my school is, from what I know, at least been up and running 6 to 7 years at this point before I came into the picture and been enrolled in their school. What would happen is, whenever I would submit schoolwork, I'm not sure if this is universal across all online schools, whenever I would go into a assignment and go into the Zoom meeting to learn about, what the lesson is about, or assignment, basically what would happen is, if it's not a test, project, or other assignment that the teacher would disclose to you and talk about, basically what would happen is I would submit this lesson and I would get credit for it. But that's not actually what happened. Instead, what would happen is I would submit the lesson and I would get all zeros and I wouldn't get no credit. So what I would have to do is actually painfully and also slowly call each and every single one of my teachers when this would happen and tell them, hey, I got a 0. You need to fix that. And I had to do that at least a good 20 to 30 times in the 4 to 5 months in my first school year. And it just got to a point where I was just, fed up and annoyed. I'm like, you guys really, at this point, 6 to 7 years, and you're like, you can't just, fix that problem? Like, Jesus, guys, come on, you need to get on the ball. And as well as, I was having trouble with just understanding, like, the coursework that I was working with, is more particularly essays and as well as more specifically math. And the big theme for that year was just, I don't know what I'm doing and I need help. But my teachers were not all that great of help. Basically, they were just hearing what I was saying and it would go through one year, out the other. And they, whenever I would tell them what was going on, they would constantly just try to, instead of come up with an entirely new strategy, they would sit there and just try to ever so slightly just reformat or reword what it is they had just said to me before. And I'd constantly reiterate to them, that's not working, you need to stop, we need to try something completely different. And it got to a point where one of my teachers just said to me, hey, you need to guess, which I don't like guessing. I'd rather actually completely understand what it is I'm doing instead of sitting there wasting my time having to constantly guess things. But that's just me. So, now moving on to my second year. Basically, I ended up doing summer school for my first one and also my second year. Stuff started to actually pick up though, thankfully enough, even though had to go through a lot of rough patches. My IEP got implemented in my third year. For those who don't know what IEPs are, basically just make stuff short, sweet, and simple and take up more time in the video. I'll just tell you, let's say I have a math test and it's all multiple choice. Basically, that just means instead of there being, let's say, 4 multiple choice questions, there is either 2 or 3. Pretty straight and simple and straightforward. As well as I also get the added benefit of, instead of being penalized for, let's say, a lesson being 3 days overdue, I don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's nice. And now talking about my 4th and final year. Man, my final year started off normal enough, but stuff started to get really, I guess you could say bad, if you will, towards Thanksgiving and also December. The reason for this being is due to the fact that whenever I don't enjoy something, I'm sure many of us could relate to this, whether it be working out or something else that we are trying to stay committed to long term, if we don't find enjoyment in that, we kind of typically abandon it. And that's the same thing for me in school. It's not that I don't enjoy school overall. There are some classes like math on some very odd and rare occasions, as well as art, and what's the other class? Science. Science is another class that comes to me really naturally and I enjoy at times. But, I can't say that, I'm biting at the nail each and every day, just waking up 6 in the morning, chomping at the bit to get into science. So my coursework and me submitting it got really slowed down during the month of Thanksgiving as well as December. So much so to a point where, if I haven't given away in the title of the video, I'm not sure what I will title it, but I had accumulated around either February 15th or January 15th 170 lessons. That's including projects, that's including art, drawings, I have to submit essays, so on and so forth. That's a lot of lessons. And at that point, I only had like 3 or 4 months of school year to get caught up. And if I didn't get caught up, basically what would happen is, if I didn't pass all of my classes for that school year, I would end up having to be forced into summer school once more. So I literally had no room for error, and I was pretty stressed out once I saw what I had accumulated, this massive workload. But thankfully enough, though, I had a really great teacher, Mr. Rudy, my homeroom teacher. And for those my 3rd and 4th year, he was constantly messaging me. I can't say enough great things about him, really. He would send me messages through the chat that I was submitting my coursework in, and as well as just giving me phone calls, telling me, "Hey kid, I see you're really behind. I see you're struggling on, but 2022's your year. You can get stuff done. I believe you still have a chance to graduate, but you're gonna have to contact me so we could get this ball rolling and start to strategize on what we could do to get you back caught up." And when I read that, I was just like, he could have picked anyone else that was more less behind than me, if you will, that has a better chance to get caught up quicker, but he chose me. So what I'm going to do is, from this point onward, I'm going to do no less than 15 to 20 lessons each and every single day, including doing 2 drawings at night. No matter how much it sucks, I'm going to get it done. Even if I'm sick, there's nothing that's going to stop me. So that sucked a lot, and I was really anxious for my 3 weeks that I had done that, and it was just really crazy. So the reason for this being was due to the fact that, at least for the first 3 or so weeks, I was constantly racking the same question in my brain of, how is it I divide this massive workload that I've accumulated for myself over these past couple or so months, and how do I do it so in a healthy way that I don't deprive myself of something that is a necessity like sleep and accumulate bad health effects that would also impact doing my schoolwork long term. As well as, I was also asking myself the question of, am I truthfully not going to have any time to have a moment of reprieve? Am I just going to constantly be knee deep in schoolwork up until the end of the school year? But thankfully that was not the case, because at the end of March I got to 60, and then towards April I had only 20 overdue lessons, which is way more manageable and simpler to complete in a more timely fashion, and I could get that done in a day. And I also got to enjoy my spring break, which is something I didn't think I would have the opportunity of doing ever. And I also got to make some videos during that month of April for you guys. So that was really cool as well. So lastly, I believe I should end off the video on a more positive, upbeat note, talking about my graduation as well as positive experiences of working with some of my school teachers this year. So, the first one being is I got to work with a really great math teacher this year, Mr. Andrew. He's my consumer math teacher. As I mentioned before, math teachers really make or break a subject for you during math. If you don't understand a subject such as algebra or geometry, if you're just learning that for the very first time and don't know anything about it. So, he's a really cool guy, very patient. Anytime I had a problem with him, we worked through it very quickly and efficiently, and it was just a great class. I'm glad I got put into it, and I got to learn some very cool things you could do in Microsoft Excel that I didn't know you could do. I wasn't aware that you could create calculators, mini games in that program, as well as art. And I also got put into a art class. I really like doing drawing, and I wanted to learn how to draw better. But I'm not sure if this sounds weird, but I didn't want to be put into an art class. The best analogy I could give you for that is like if you like jogging, but if someone signed you up for a marathon. That would probably be the easiest way for me to explain it. But thankfully I got put into that class, and I also now have learned some things I may not have been able to otherwise pick up somewhere else. So that's nice. I got put into a digital art class. I learned how to manipulate photos even furthermore, which is something I like learning how to do. I learned learning how filters interact with other things and how that interacts with one another. So that was really nice. And I guess the last thing is my graduation. So the day of my graduation was pretty busy, almost from start to finish, because we had to run around town, pick up dress shoes, a nice button-up shirt, and as well as we were missing something called, I believe it was a stole. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Basically, it's just a thin piece of cloth that goes around you when you have your gown, and then you can put on your cap. But thankfully, I got that once I went into the building where the graduation was being attended and held. So when I went into that building, man, I was just nervous. For the very first times in my life, I was both nervous, excited, and happy. And it was just really cool being among my peers instead of me being in some boring Zoom meeting just watching the graduation. And when I was talking with them, they were probably just as nervous as I was. We were sitting there thinking we may have to do a speech individually, if we chose to, that is. And he was a high honor student from what I remember. I don't remember his name, but he was sitting there talking to me, telling me how he didn't feel as if he had earned his high honors. I'm not sure if this is different in other schools, but basically high honors in my online school, that just means for 1 or 2 semesters you earned all A's in every single in your classes. So I was just telling him, I was like, just be happy. You got high honors, man. You're here alongside me and others for our graduation. You should be ecstatic. You shouldn't be sitting there questioning yourself whether or not you're worthy of that, because you got the medal to prove it. So just be happy. And I really can't thank my father enough for just being there that day and also just bring me to the graduation, because he could have just done what he usually does, going to work and not chose to if he really wanted to. But to finish off this video, I want to say thankfully I got a really great selection of teachers this year. I really wouldn't change any one of them for any reason whatsoever. And if you guys enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate it if you hit that like button, share button, share this video with people you know that like RE4, as well as hit that subscribe button. And if you want to get notified for all the videos that get posted here on this channel, hit the subscribe, click that bell icon. Instead of that personalized, you click on all so YouTube doesn't decide what you get from me and when you get it. If you like this video, you should probably go check out some other videos. And with that out of the way, guys, have yourselves a damn good one. And I'm out of here. Peace.